Now, bear in mind when you do this particular stress assessment, it is not something to judge you or to label you, but rather it's just to find out your perceived stress at the moment. Okay? And remember, what may be stressful to you may not be stressful to another person. So this is really an individual assessment, and it can change depending on the situation and the season of life that you're in. So right now you may be more stressed and later less stressed, or maybe right now you are less stressed and later you are more stressed. It depends on what you're facing at this moment. So this is known as the perceived stress scale. It is not stress scale because stress scale means it is very objective, and this is perceived stress scale, meaning to say it's your perception about how stressful you are. So you just answer as honestly as possible, and also there is a 5 scale there, 1 being never, 2 almost never, 3 sometimes, 4 fairly often, and 5 often. So the first question, in the last month, how often have you been upset because of something that happened unexpectedly? Something that you didn't plan will happen, but it happened and you are upset in the last month. How often has this happened? Never, almost never, sometimes, fairly often or often. Number 2, in the last month, how often have you felt that you were unable to control the important things in your life? So you felt that you are out of control of certain things. So how often has this happened in the past month? In the last month, how often have you felt nervous or stressed? Number 4, in the last month, how often have you felt confident about your ability to handle your personal problems? That means when you have problems, you are actually confident that, okay, I can settle it. Okay? How often in the last month have you felt that way? Number 5, in the last month, how often have you felt that things were going your way? That means you felt that things are going according to your plan and everything is falling into place, and it's like you are living the life. All right? Number 6, in the last month, how often have you found that you could not cope with all the things you had to do? You had so many tasks, you had so many things to do that you felt that you can't cope. Number 7, in the last month, how often have you been able to control your irritations in life? Meaning to say, in this last month, if you have ever been angered, if you have ever been frustrated, if you have ever been feeling dissatisfied, how often have you been able to control this anger, frustration, dissatisfaction? Number 8, in the last month, how often have you felt that you were on top of things? That means you felt that you were in control. You know, things are according to what is in your palm, right? You can control. Number 9, in the last month, how often have you been angered because of things that happened that were outside your control? So now this is not something that is unexpected, but it is something that you really can't control and you're angry about it. Okay? So it could be something happening in the environment. Maybe, for example, the fuel price, petrol price increase. You cannot control it, but you are angry because of it. So how many times or how often in the last month have you been angered this way? That's number 9. Next is number 10. In the last month, how often have you felt that difficulties were piling up so high that you could not overcome them? So just recheck your score and see whether they really reflect what you have answered for the last month. So now we will look at how to score this perceived stress scale, or the PSS. So first, you need to look at item or question number 4, 5, 7, and 8. You need to reverse the score first. So if you have, let's say for example, for questions 4, 5, 7 and 8, if you have given a score of 0, so now you need to change the score to 4. If you've given a score of 1, now you cancel it and change it to 3. If you've given 2, just leave it, because 2 also means 2 after reversing the score. If you've given 3, now you cancel it, you give a score of 1. If you've given 4, you cancel it, give a score of 0. Okay? Just try to do that. Okay? Do the reverse scoring so that the score will be accurate after this. Okay? Now add up your scores for each item to actually get a total. Alright? So now we will finally see what is your perceived stress scale at this moment. What is your score? I hope it is not super high at this moment. Okay? So, what is your score? Alright. So if your score falls between 0 to 13, it is actually low perceived stress. That means at this particular time of your life, you perceive that it is not very stressful for you at this moment. Now, if your score falls between 14 to 26, then maybe there's some stress, but it's not too much. Neither is it too little, but you have some kind of stress going on. Okay, you're perceiving that there is some kind of stress going on in your life. Now, 27 to 40, if your score falls between these two numbers, perhaps at this moment you're experiencing something, and perhaps at this moment you are actually facing high stress. Regardless of your score at this moment, just bear in mind that we can be better, and in the next few modules, I will teach you how to manage your current stress and your future stress.